It's time to enter the world of real estate in Oahu with
Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Well, I heard an interesting term. I listen to a ton of podcasts, and that's where I get all this information that I want to bring to our listeners. And so two terms that I want to share with you today is called me search. You know, there's research and then there's me search. So me search means that research is what a scientist does, and me search is like being in a constant state of learning and researching things for yourself so that you can be a better version of a human being in the world. And then the me search that I was doing was on this podcast. I was interviewing a psychologist doing some research on human beings. He was the guy that got to work with Maslow. And if anybody knows Maslow was the researcher that came up with the hierarchy of needs that human beings have. The basic need being, water, food, shelter, and then as we go up, more of the emotional needs like being loved, feeling secure, feeling safe, all those things. But anyway, so this guy got to work with them and another researcher, and he came up with some. It's kind of some reasoning on why a lot of times we have this idea or this goal that we want to achieve and we don't reach it. And the concept or the discussion regarding, like therapy and stuff like that, or something to be self-aware of, we called it cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is that, for example, that like you really want to go, you signed up for a gym membership, you want to go work out every day, you want to lose weight, you want to look better, feel better, but in your head you're like, I don't know about that.
You talk yourself out of it. Make excuses.
There's a comedian who said it, and it's funny, but it's true how people think, oh, I'll go to the gym when I'm in better shape because it's a public environment with other people. And that cognitive dissonance talks you out of it. And I know Pepper said one time, I went to the gym to work out. I go every day. I go to the parking lot, I eat a Snickers, turn around and go home. And then you got all that. Well, I don't know if it's Kaiser or HMSA. Like if you do like 42 workouts, they reimburse you. So I see all those people
at the end of the year.
Trying to squeeze in all their workouts so they're getting reimbursed. And they're completely missing the point of why they're reimbursing you for that, because they're trying to create an incentive that you will be healthier by working out consistently. So cognitive dissonance is something that you need to be aware of. And in your mind, you got to just say, man, I'm going to the gym. I'm getting my butt in there no matter how huge it is. And I'm going to work on it.
Just tell that, like, what is it? That inner negative voice. That inner negative voice. Yeah. Just tell it to be quiet.
Yeah. And
don't listen to it.
He shared the story where his dad owned a store and had a couple stores, but it was during the Depression and they went out of business. And he knew at the time that the dad liked to gamble. He would just gamble on anything. He told a story, but like, let's gamble on let's place a bet on how many cars will pass this intersection in the next 5 minutes. He would just gamble on anything. And they knew, and he would gamble even when they didn't have money. But then the dad said, I lost the stores because of the Depression. So that cognitive dissonance created a situation where he didn't want to admit that he had a gambling habit. And that's the reason why he lost the stores, not necessarily the Depression. So the first step is being aware that you have that going on.
So have the me search, and be in that constant state of learning and growth for yourself.
And you know what I would recommend? Number one, for some me search, PSI seminar coming up October. What is it? The second weekend?
The second weekend in October.
Second weekend of October, Personal Self-Improvement Institute. It's a 3-day
me search.
3-day me search opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're like, oh, I gotta work. You know what? This is what happens. People go through life.
Tell your boss what you're doing. I'm sure that they will give you the day off and they will be pleased to hear that you're working on yourself. Yeah.
They should support you. And if they're not, get a different employer, because
we know lots of employers that actually will pay for their employees to go through it and to give the time off. And it's, that's
there's
the
some
culture.
Commanders in the military that'll support it. Some don't, because they don't know anything about it. Maybe they should go because it'll help with their leadership capabilities. Well, PSI seminars, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's about self-examination, and 2 things you're going to get out of that PSI seminar, let alone figuring out what your cognitive dissonance that's holding you back in areas of your life is, why am I behaving the way that I do? Why do I react the way that I do? And
where's this programming coming from?
And and why do the people around me react the way they do? And don't make the mistake of going there because, I'm going to learn all this stuff so I can tell my wife or my husband what they need to change.
No, it's
That's
for
the wrong
you.
reason. You got to go for you.
The me search.
It's me search, not them search.
So it's October 13th through 15th. And
was that PSIHawaii.org?
Just Google it.
Yeah,
PSI Seminar-Honolulu, and they have their own page with the calendar and how to sign up.
I think, and then if we don't already have it, go to our website, teamlally.com. There'll be a link there. Just look at the drop-down menu in the resources tab. This is definitely a good resource.
And we have all of our team attend. We do have some new team members that have not attended, but I would say 90% of our people that are on our team have gone, even some of our virtual assistants.
This is how much we feel about it. If you're a W-2 employee on our team, we require in your first year that you go. We'll pay for it and give you paid time off.
Yep.
PTO. And then it just, everybody says this when they come out of it. Now we know why you say the things you say and why you swear at us so much. No, they don't say that second part. There's a language of success. And if you're not familiar with it or understand it or open to it, it could almost sound like a foreign language. And so I'd highly encourage your employers. And by the way, if you run a company, don't just send your employees and then you don't go.
You got to go.
You got to go. Because everything flows from leadership.
Then you've got to lead by example.
Lead by example, and it's going to start with you. Then the team members go, and you're going to have a more profitable, more fulfilling, more purposeful organization if you do send your people. Because this training just started yesterday, right, in Hawaii.
Oh, actually, we're celebrating 50 years.
50
years in Hawaii. It started here in Hawaii. The founder of it first introduced it to OCCC in the prison system, to the most hardened criminals, and turn these people around. So if they can do that with them, they can do it with you. All right. Speaking of which. Yeah, so we have Haaheo
Yeah.
calling in. I think she's probably calling in from the 50th anniversary celebration.
Yes.
Of the PSI seminars.
Arizona.
And great timing, Haaheo. We were just talking about how much of a difference the PSI has made in our lives, as well as
personal and business.
In business, and with our team.
What you got for us, Haaheo?
Hi there.
Hello. Hi. So
well, there's a lot of noise here, but I've got Kathy Quinlan Perez standing next to me as we celebrate our 50th in Arizona.
All right.
Aloha, Kathy.
Oh my God,
Kathy, I had her.
Oh my God,
she was
Adrienne, Lally, and Attilio. Hi.
You're on our radio show, Kathy. We had you for Size 7.
Yeah, and I had you for WLS.
Oh my God, that's so awesome! My hair just came out and said, "Hey, do you want to be on a radio show?" And I said, "Sure," but I thought it was like, let's pick a date. I didn't know we were going on it
right now. Just do it now.
You're on our radio show. Why should people attend a PSI seminar?
Because I think it is the life to uncover and rediscover how extraordinary they really are. And that regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the chaos in the world or in their families or in their businesses, there are solutions. And they will walk out of those 3 days remembering that they are the source and that they have all the creativity and the capability and the ability to master anything.
Yes.
And they'll get their intention 100% clear about what they're committed to and have incredible support in making that happen. I'm a firm believer that we were put on this planet to have an extraordinary life. And the only thing that stops us from having an extraordinary life is our thinking. But we have got to be willing to uncover the thinking that is ineffective and now bring up the thinking that is very effective and start using that muscle in our life instead of letting the other muscle rule our life.
Yeah.
So that's what I got, people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
Was that good?
That was awesome.
Was that good?
It was
That was
amazing.
awesome.
Awesome.
And I just want to like tie in like with
Aloha
this.
to all of your listeners.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha, guys.
Oh, thank you for letting me hop on that.
Okay.
And I have a 50% off certificate.
Whoa.
So the tuition instead of $795 would be $397.50.
Oh.
Nice.
Wow. So how do our listeners get
Yeah.
this 50% off discount?
Fly to Phoenix right now. No.
Haaheo,
That's less than I paid in 1987.
Yeah.
But here's the other part of that is that tuition of $795, our foundation, Sky World, so that certificate only, that code is only going to last till Friday. But whatever is how many people register, our nonprofit, Sky World, will match
nice.
that tuition to the Maui projects that are going on to assist in rebuilding everything that has happened in Maui.
Nice.
Love that.
That's awesome.
What a
Me too.
what a win-win.
It gives me goosebumps.
I'm so excited. You get a ticket for the basic, and the equal amount is donated to Maui. How
Nice.
amazing is that?
That is awesome. Help yourself,
it.
help the people in Maui. 2 for 1.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. 1 + 1 = 3. And the famous philosophical giver's gain.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like if I put it out there, it's going to come back somewhere. That is a great way to put it out there.
Yeah, and
You
we
put it
truly
out there
believe
and
that.
actually attending the basic seminar, that giving that gift to yourself is going to give a gift to thousands of people.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
I love it.
Thank you,
I love
guys.
it. You're so welcome.
I'll text you the code, and you
Okay.
can call me if you need to.
All righty.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thanks,
cool.
Haaheo.
Have a fabulous day.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Love
Thank you,
you.
Kathy.
Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, again, that was PSI Seminars. And if any of our listeners are interested in getting that code, reach out to Attilio and myself directly, and we will share it with you.
Yeah. So give a
Okay.
gift to yourself. Give a gift to the people around you by doing the change in yourself you need to, and give a gift to Lahaina all at
That's
the
right.
same time. All right. Next up, we got who?
We have the mortgage genius, Jodie Tonga of Pacific Rim Mortgage, giving us the gift of mortgage knowledge.
Mortgage knowledge. What mortgage knowledge you got for us this week, Jodie?
So I just wanted to talk about the latest economic update, which today was a big day. The core inflation or CPI data came out today, and let me just let you guys take a guess. Do you guys think inflation went up, stayed the same, or went down?
I think it went up.
You think it went up? I'm going
Yeah.
with down.
Oh, okay. Adrienne was right.
Oh. Boo.
As usual.
So
I wasn't
was
booing
only,
Adrian. I was booing that inflation went up.
Yes, me too. But,
No, but boo you for getting it right. But go ahead, Jodie.
Yeah, so it's only about 3%, 3.7, and that was a little bit higher than anticipated, and higher than we wanted it to. So we want that 3.7 to be more like 2.
2%. Okay.
Yeah, 2. And so we're not quite there yet. And so all that means is that we are not yet going to see these mortgage rates come down yet. They will come down, but we're not going to see it just yet. And so I think, for a buyer, from a buying perspective, That means you're not going to see a flooded market or an overly saturated market with buyers just yet.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to be a buyer. You can take your time and negotiate away, right? And then when the rates drop, Jodie's going to be there to help you refinance.
Catch you.
Yes. So,
yep, exactly.
So Jodie, what kind of strategies or programs do you have, in this, just to make sure that they're capitalizing on the interest rates and the changes?
So definitely, there's a 2-1 temporary buy down where you can get a 2% lower interest rate for the first year and 1% lower for the second.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a 1-1. So you can get 1% lower for the first year. And the reason a 1-1 is a lot more feasible, or it's still a good strategy. Of course, we would rather have a 2% lower for the first year and then 1% lower for the second. But ultimately, how this loan program works is that requires a pretty hefty credit from the seller. So you would go in with an offer saying, hey, I'd love to buy this for $600,000, but I would like to get, a $15,000 seller credit, which is not always something that the seller is going to agree to. With the 1-1, you only get the lower rate for 1 year, and it's only 1% lower instead of 2%, but it doesn't cost as much. So the seller won't have to give as big of a credit.
Yeah.
And, the other thing you can do is offer over the asking price to get that credit. And then it's like the seller's not really losing anything anyways.
He's giving your money back.
Yeah. As long as the appraisal comes in.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Which we've been seeing them come in.
Mm.
And then I think the other thing too, with the 1-1, it's like you have the 1 year, and like we're hoping that the interest rates will have, come down a little bit, at least within the next year. And then it may be time to refinance anyways.
Right. And so that's why, because it's not like you're buying 6 months ago or 12 months ago, when it's like 12 months ago, there's no way that we could have said, we think we're only 12 months out for rates to go down. That would bring us here where we are today, in which if someone was banking on being able to refinance now, that's kind of, even 12 months ago, that wouldn't have been a sound strategy. That's not something that we would have recommended.
My favorite line from the movie is explain it to me like I'm an 11-year-old, but then I think we got to ratchet that down because some 11-year-olds are pretty sharp. So my understanding, and you help me, Jodie, or correct me if I'm wrong, is that the Federal Reserve or the government, it uses the interest rate to the banks, even though they're not directly connected to the mortgage, to regulate, pump the brakes, or step on the gas for the economy. When the economy is doing well, then they want to bring interest rates up with inflation, to slow it down. And when the economy is lagging, they want to make interest rates low to spur it to giddy up. So
exactly.
Yeah. Because that's the part everybody gets confused, right? Because they think the Federal Reserve and the interest rate they're doing is directly connected to mortgages, but it's not. But typically they follow or they parallel.
Right.
Yeah.
They're definitely correlated.
Yeah.
They definitely, like, if the Fed overnight rate goes up, everything trickles down so that everything kind of does go up as well.
Yeah. They're like we're tipping over 2 dominoes, even though the dominoes are knocking other dominoes that are not interconnected. They're all falling pretty much in tandem. So that's a good update. So if somebody's buying a home now, should they still buy? If they want to buy a home now, should they still buy one?
Yes.
Yeah. If the numbers work.
Yeah.
And you feel confident about your job status.
Yeah.
I think now is just the most amazing time. It's a huge opportunity because we're all saying it, and we can't say it's a fact, 100%, but when rates go down, things are going to get so much harder to compete.
More competitive,
and so,
yeah.
It's going to get crazy.
Okay.
So it's like
For
the calm
people
before
with-
the storm.
Right. For people with lower down payments, where you're coming up with just enough to satisfy the loan program,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to compete because once rates go down, you might have to offer more. And so, you know, that's why we say it's an opportunity, even though rates are much, much higher than they were during the pandemic.
Yeah. Suppose you're dating and the other person is a 10 and you're a 7. This is the market where the house is a 10, but the 7s can still get the house.
Right. Right.
And you're not competing with a bunch of 10s.
And honestly, like at the end of the day, what the economic outlook also supported is that rent is really continuing to increase.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thank you, Jodie.
Thanks, Jodie.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
All righty.
Okay, that was Jodie, the mortgage genius. You can find out about her and her team by going to our website and click on the resource tab, and you'll find experts we trust.
Yeah. Speaking of another expert we trust, who do we have, Adrienne?
We have Jake from SKYTA Roofing, Construction, and Solar.
Jake, what you got for us this week, Jake?
Well, guys, tip of the week is coming from the roofing side. Right now, as you guys know, SKYTA Roofing and Solar is crazy right now. With all the windstorms that have happened, we have customers calling all the time saying, hey, I'm afraid that my rates are going to go up, but I don't have the kind of money, and Uncle might be able to get up there and do the repair, but we want to see if we can get covered through insurance. But a lot of people have been afraid those rates are going to go up. So our team helps work with insurance to be able to get somebody out to the house to look and inspect and see is there damage that is covered by insurance.
Yeah.
And with wind, there is the opportunity for many of the homes. We're out here specifically in Maui and Oahu. There was a bunch of windstorms at the beginning of August. Of course, the Maui fire had a ton of wind.
Yeah.
And so we've been out in Lahaina and in Kihei and in Upcountry and a bunch of the places here in Maui and Oahu where there was a lot of wind, and where we've been able to cover with insurance, help them, they pay insurance every single month on your home. If you're listening and you're like, oh man, I pay homeowners insurance, I've never made a claim. Many people haven't, but now's the time to make a claim. Rates don't go up when it's an act of God windstorm.
Yeah.
So there's really high likelihood of getting coverage right now, as insurance does cover quite a bit of stuff concerning wind. So now's the time to check in and see. Just in this last week, here in Maui, we've been able to help homeowners get over $500,000 back to cover complete re-roofs.
You guys did the work.
Even
you got the money and did the work.
Well, yeah, that's right. It covers even a lot of people have panels on their roof and they're wanting to add more panels and they haven't been able to because the roof's been bad or they've gotten damaged. So insurance can actually cover getting the old panels off and getting them reinstalled, all on the insurance dime in some cases. So it's been a great time to be a roofer and to help people out here in Maui and in Oahu where there's been a lot of damage and the lever's hot. I know a lot of people love going to Vegas and want to know what table's hot, what's hitting. And right now the insurance is paying out and helping out a ton to get homes restored where there's been damage. So our team comes along, helps expedite the process, help you make sure that the claim is done correctly. It's a headache doing it on your own, and insurance jargon is hard to speak. So we have a whole team of people that work with insurance. We've done over 200 claims, can help anybody who needs that on their home.
If they're not, if you know people, if you're not sure, just call Jake.
Yep.
Jake will pop up on the roof. He's going to take a look.
He's going to go call the insurance company and speak their language.
And when it's all said and done, Jake is going to go green bottle because he's going to bring over on 6-pack of Heineken. You're going to be celebrating your new roof, paid for by the insurance company. Green bottle.
Thank you, Jake.
Let's go. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, again, that's Jake from SKYTA Roofing, Construction, and Solar. You can find them on our Experts We Trust tab. So we are going to take a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Ramsey Bergeron of Bergeron Well-Being. We're going to talk about his new Living with Purpose After Divorce class and what people can expect from it.
So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Hawaii, I would hire Adrienne and Attilio Leonardi. Their marketing strategy is so effective that if your home doesn't sell on terms you agree to, Team Lally will buy it. Partner with the team I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
Hey, you know, there are all kinds of opinions out there where the real estate market is going and what to do about higher interest rates. Hey, your friend Sean Hannity here. And as a real estate investor myself, I want to tell you that I would go for the best advice on the local market. I'm talking about Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Now, getting expert local advice from someone who actually lives right here and has worked in real estate for years means you will have the best information to make the right decision for you. So even if you're thinking, well, should I sell now? Should I wait? Well, you can start by getting an accurate value on your home. Just go to the website, enter your address, and you'll have your home's value in a matter of seconds. It's just that simple, that easy, and you'll probably find that your home is worth more than you thought. Now, that piece of information alone is going to open up multiple options for you. Call Team Lally now at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com.
Tired of waiting 2-3 months to finalize your home loan or refinance? Jodie Tonga and her team at Pacific Rim Mortgage have a turn time of 30 days or less by processing your loans locally.
Take advantage of today's low interest rates by calling our good friend Jodie Tonga of Pacific Rim Mortgage. Her personal cell is 488-5510. That's 488-5510.
Hey, Adrienne, guess what?
What, Attilio?
Jodie has a huge secret.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
I can tell you.
Yes, you can.
Okay, here it is. Jodie has a free home buying guide that reveals insider tips others may not want you to know.
Wow, how do I get this free home buying guide?
Easy. Just go to her website, pacificrim.com. That's PAC or PACRIMNTG.com.
I see the free home buyer guide has valuable information that can help me avoid mistakes and could cost me tens of thousands of dollars over the lifetime of my loan.
Yes. So check out their site. That's pacificrim.com or give her a call at 488-5510. That's 488-5510. What's the website?
It's PAC, P-A-C, RIM, R-I-M, Mortgage, MTG.com. Hawaii, NMLS ID 1032554.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrienne.
And I'm still Attilio.
And if you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Adrienne, did you know I wanted to be a doctor?
No.
But I didn't have the patience.
Clearly.
I looked up the most terrible dad joke I could tell, and that was it.
Okay. Now,
all right,
on
so
to our guest, please.
Our guest today is a certified leadership dynamics and mindset coach, 8-time Ironman, and owner of Bergeron Well-Being in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Beginning in 2006, he started his business, dedicating his life to promoting well-being and health. He's been a leader in the coaching and wellness industries for over 15 years and has over 2 decades of public speaking experience. And I'm going to add this in, including he's done some stand-up comedy as well.
Cool.
Yep. Please welcome today's guest, Ramsey Bergeron.
Welcome, Ramsey.
Hello. Hi, thanks for having me. And Attilio, I had a similar situation. I dated a girl who used to play a lot of tennis, but we had to break up because love meant nothing to her.
And then it's like...
My own bad dad joke I had to throw in.
Dad jokes are like, they're like painful, but they're so painful, they're funny.
Oh, I love it. I agree.
And all right, so we want to talk about...
Well, we're welcoming you back.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is you have a new course that you've just come out with.
Yeah.
living with a purpose after divorce. So why did you create this class, Ramsey?
Well, thank you guys for having me back. I do appreciate it. And I created this class, I guess, after going through my own divorce 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I realized there wasn't a lot of support out there that helped people in a profound way other than like legal advice. I really wanted to be able to help people from the emotional standpoint and helping them find their sense of purpose and identity on their own after divorce. Because I know for me, that was such a challenging thing was, who was I? What did I want after, the life that I thought I was going to have forever ended up not materializing? All right, well, what did I need moving forward? And so I created this course to help people with some of the tools that really helped me be able to not only get my life on track, but to be the best version of myself ever after my divorce.
Well, let's take the tour of the class here, as we say, but as they say, radio is TV for the mind. So we got to describe it. Talk about so how long is this? How long is the course?
Well, there's 12 modules, and it can be done over 3 months. People can do it sooner if they want, but I intentionally drip out the content where it's not, you can't just power through it because change is going to take time. I want to make sure that people understand kind of the fundamentals before we move on.
Yeah.
It's kind of divided into 3 parts. The first one is to discover who you are, decide who you want to be, and then develop the plan to get you there.
Yeah.
So the first part of the course, it's a lot of honesty with yourself. I start off with the ELI assessment, the Energy Leadership Index assessment, which I know Adrienne has taken. I offered a couple of years ago. And then some other assessments to gauge levels of emotional intelligence and where are you just with your physical well-being, financially, and with your community. And once you kind of have that starting point, then we're going to say, all right, in 1 year, who do you want to be?
Yeah.
And once you've kind of determined what are your values and what's your mission and statement in life, then we develop a plan to get you there. What does that look like? What's keeping you from moving forward? And how do we focus your attention on the things that are within your control? So there's 12 modules. I said there's also a workbook. There's a continuing education journal to help these concepts going afterwards, and a support community, because that was for me one of the things that I needed was just other people who were either going
and psychiatrists and psychologists that it's right up there with a death in the family, major traumatic change in your life. We may or may not, and people, statistically, there's a high probability that half the people listening to this can relate, because unfortunately we've been through that situation, and we know that,
or are currently going through that situation.
What does this, because it's not like you go to your siblings, or you go to your parents, or you go to your friends, because it's kind of embarrassing. So talk about how these modules are helpful in that situation.
Well, that's a great point. Like when it's hard to go to people, and not only do we know what to say when we go to them, they don't know what to say. One of the hardest things, like whenever I was going through my divorce, was some days I would feel like, yes, this is the right decision. I can take on the world. And then if I'm talking with somebody and telling them I'm going through a divorce, they say, oh my God, I'm so then it makes me question, like, well, am I making the right decision? So it's so hard to know what to say, and it's so hard for people to be able to communicate back because they don't know what you need or in that situation. So this course really just helps you understand what it is that you're feeling and be able to articulate it. So I know a lot of people when they're going through a divorce, especially men, don't know how to even share what they feel because they don't even know how to express what they feel. Yeah. So this course really helps people gain clarity by learning what it means to ground, to create space, to be able to just sit and understand what it is that we're going through. And and then be able to, and you said this well, it's a grieving process. It is similar to death because we're grieving the life that we thought we were going to have that we no longer will. That is a death. You're grieving the death of the life you thought you were going to have. And that's a very real emotional experience. And there's a way to honor that while still moving forward and determining who you want to be.
So Ramsey, if someone is in the middle of a divorce, would this be good timing, or should they wait until after the dust has settled and then enroll? How does that work as far as the timing?
What would be your recommendation?
That's a great question, guys. So I actually offer a complimentary one-on-one coaching call because everyone's situation is different. Yeah. If it's a really amicable divorce, then maybe you might want to start this process earlier. If there's a lot going on from a legal or financial standpoint, it really just depends on individual circumstances. But if anyone wants that complimentary coaching call to see if this class is right for you, then you can go to, it's a link on my website, BergeronWellbeing.com. That's BERGERON, wellbeing.com/video. Bergeron Well-Being/video. It's a quick little video. It kind of tells you some of the course, and then you can schedule a one-on-one call with me to see if it's the right fit for you after you watch that video.
And Ramsey, I'm sure too that this would be the thought that are popping up in people's minds because, when we sit down with a client, it sounds like you do the same thing. You take a consultative approach in that initial consultation to find out what their goals and priorities are. And sometimes we sit down with clients that want to sell a home, and keeping the home and not selling it
is the best option.
Is the best option for their goals and priorities. So I'm going to imagine, knowing you, and we know you on a personal level, that if it comes to find out that divorce is not the direction that they go, that you would counsel them to say, hey.
Or even the timing of taking this course. Now, Ramsey, you have additional resources. Let's briefly touch on that. I don't want to take away from the divorce course that you have recently come out with, but I know that you have some other resources as well that are worth mentioning.
Yeah.
I do. Thank you. So I have classes on emotional mastery, just a general class, and then emotional mastery for men, which is very much specifically tailored for men. Because it's a whole different ballgame for us when we deal with anger and just issues that we haven't been able to fully express. So I do have an emotional mastery class, which will help anyone who just wants to figure out what it is that you're feeling. What is an emotion? How can I appropriately express my emotion? And the emotional mastery for men. To address kind of what you were asking a second ago, Attilio, and if I do have someone currently in my divorce class who is not getting divorced, but it looked like it was going to go that way. Mm. So through this class, him and his wife have actually decided how much that they do want to work on it and love each other. So it's a great class in general for anyone who they might feel like they're living on autopilot or doesn't know what they want in life or doesn't know how to communicate. Yeah. A lot of those tools are going to apply just as well to people trying to save their marriage too.
I was talking with a good friend of mine, and he was telling me about a separation recently that they're going through. And I said, hey, whatever you can. I mean, they're going to go to they're going to counseling, and they're going to get it worked out. And I said, I highly encourage you, because I think the reason, here's what I told him, and I think you probably think the same way. We'll go get, say, like a 4-year college degree, spend $150,000, hours and hours of studying, textbooks, computers, taking tests to get this piece of paper for a relationship with a future employer. Well, how much time do we spend on the more important relationships like a significant other? Nothing. And that would be the reason I would want people to take this course with you, is to how to, you can't be in a relationship with somebody else and understanding their purpose if you don't understand what yours is.
You got to work on you first. Yep.
I agree. I have a version of this course which is just called Living with Purpose, which isn't divorce-centric.
Yes.
And that's kind of the goal for that as well. And honestly, I started dating someone now after 2 years of being single, and we have a counselor, even though we've only been dating for 2 months.
Yeah.
I told anyone, I said, look, I want to make sure that we're not waiting until things are wrong before we go to a couples counselor. Why do people wait until there's a problem? Let's go make sure that we have alignment And so I offer that service as well to people, like with couples coaching. You don't have to wait till there's a problem. If you want to make sure that you're in alignment and growing together, I think you hit the nail on the head, Attilio. Yeah. Why do we wait until things are bad before we seek some kind of intervention instead of being proactive about it?
Yeah, and why do we spend so much time and money into all these other areas of our life, and we neglect probably the most important area of our life is our relationships, right? Because it spills over into everything. I don't know if anybody, when at home you're having a rough time and you can go into work and be a superstar. I think that's a myth that's been busted over and over, that you can do it in the short term, but long term it's not sustainable.
I agree. And that's why I start the course with that Energy Leadership Index, because that's what it shows people. It shows you who you are in a regular day and then how your energy shifts when you encounter stress.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what you know. Like, you can be certified and have all these like, you can, if you're an engineer, you know how to use CAD software real well. But if you don't handle stress well, you can't perform, whether it's your job, at home, the things you even love to do.
Yeah.
That you're right. It affects everything. And I think fundamentally, it starts with a relationship with yourself. And so many people rush into a marriage in order to have someone else fix them or just to not be alone. And that's really why we peel the onion back so much in almost all of my classes.
Yeah.
To really figure out, who are you? What is it that you want? And what's your current level of emotional understanding? Because if you don't know what you're feeling, then someone else is never going to be able to figure it out.
Yeah. I think people are like, they'll get into a relationship and they're like, hey, he's kind of a nut job. Oh, don't worry. Oh, I'll change him, when we get married. No, it doesn't work.
50% of our programming of what we're attracted to and how we think is determined by the time we're 7 years old.
Yeah.
And, and there is a much bigger conversation here on why I think therapy is very important. And I don't intend for this class to be any substitution for any deep therapy work that some people need to do. But you're right. Like, figuring out why we're attracted to people is helpful, because we might have a certain type that's not conducive for our long-term health and well-being. And once we start to look at our values and understand what our values are, then we can see, does this other person even have the same values I have? And we can eliminate so many things on the front end just by knowing what's important to us and what we really want out of our life.
Yeah, and I think the purpose is like your own personal GPS. I always tell people that you punch in the address in the phone and it gives you like, proceed to the route.
The directions.
But it can't do that if it doesn't know where the phone is to begin with. And you're going to help people figure out where they're at.
And then where are they going?
And
where do they want to be?
At the end of this series, Ramsey's going to tell you, proceed to the route.
Yeah. Well, and
you tell yourself.
It depends on, it depends on where they want to go. But you're right. If I'm trying to get to New York, it's very different if I'm starting in Scottsdale than if I'm starting in Honolulu.
Yeah.
So if you don't know where you are, you're never going to have a plan to get where you want to be.
Yeah.
So Ramsey, with this course, how soon is your next class starting?
Yes.
How do people, I know you said you do the initial call to determine, like, is this the right time or is this the right fit for them? But how soon?
Well, next week, I'm starting a new cohort for the Living with Purpose After Divorce.
Yeah.
But even if they miss that first week, the recordings will be there and they can get caught up and join the class. And the community that we're building, there is that online community as well. I'm going to be doing calls in there weekly. And they also, no matter when you start the class, you're going to have a one-on-one call with me every week to make sure that you're understanding the material, you're progressing along, at least for the next couple of months. If this really blows up, because there's a huge need for this, I might have to just scale it back to doing group calls. But as of now, if anyone is to jump in this week or next week, I am still able to offer those one-on-one weekly calls for everyone that enrolls, because it's so important to not just give you material. I want to be your partner in this and help hold you accountable and help clarify anything that you might need help with along the way.
I just want to let our listeners know Ramsey didn't call us out of the blue or spam us or send us a text. Hey, call me. I got this. No, we know Ramsey on a personal level and what kind of person he is.
He's come out and trained all of the top leadership.
Yeah, leadership group in Honolulu.
not just the Honolulu group, but like Maui, Big Island, like all like the KW1. He's come out and done some leadership development with all of us.
So I think both of us, Adrienne and myself, would be very confident in saying that the worst thing that could happen to you if you had a consultation with Ramsey is that you're going to go on, he's going to invite you on a hike.
Yeah, you know, it's all about. Yeah, both of you guys have been hiking with me. I appreciate that.
That's our little inside
joke. That's why I know, and that's why I love reaching out with you guys, because you guys are also certified, you know, to be able to help people
in the real estate
their
aspect,
home purchases or selling, and the real estate aspect of going through a divorce. So the fact that you guys are certified, that's why I reached out to you guys. It meant a lot to know that you guys are also doing the work to help people in this very challenging situation.
Yeah, thank you for reminding the listeners about that. If you go to our website, OahuDivorce.com. Yep. There's all sorts of resources on the real estate side of things. And Attilio and I are both certified to.
We've done a ton of transactions, unfortunately, that were the result of divorce. But we went and did more extensive training with actually family law attorneys
and judges.
60-hour course. It wasn't inexpensive, and it took a lot of time and testing to get to even hone that samurai sword even more, to be able to help people navigate through dividing, unfortunately, the biggest asset that most married couples have, which is their home. But I think you, Ramsey, in my opinion, you have a more important role helping them with the emotional navigation of it.
So we're going to make sure that we add on our on our page
a resource link for Ramsey, so you can we'll address the home aspect of it. You'll help them navigate the emotional aspect of it, because we do know, you know, when you think about it too, and we can all relate, is that when you do get the divorce, you're more likely in a social circle with other married couples, and it's embarrassing, and you don't want to go to them, though they want to be there to help you. You know, it for me, I mean, you know, a lot of times too, I felt, Ramsey, in my own personal experience, and I know my friends are good and they'll be there for me, but then we write this story, right, that we're like a pariah, and we don't, you know, they don't want, you know, their husbands hanging out with me because I might infect them with a divorce virus. And we know that's not true, but it's a story we write when we don't have a resource like you to go to be able to learn differently.
Well, and that's such an important key that we actually do the first and second module is how do we separate facts from the story we're telling ourselves?
Yeah.
Like removing judgment from facts and looking at things objectively, because, you know, this is one of the things that people have a hard time understanding is your thoughts are lying to you. You know, whenever you have thoughts, we all tend to believe every thought that pops into our head. And the challenging thing after divorce is, especially because I got into a really very trauma bonding relationship right after my divorce. And it made me realize that I can't trust myself right now, that my thoughts aren't being honest. I can't be objective. And that's part of what we do in this class, to help people slow down and say, okay, what are the facts here versus what's the story I'm telling myself? And that's really so critical, because the story usually has no basis in reality.
Yeah. And I think too, we talked about it on another show, but we called it cognitive dissonance. And that's where you are a good person and people do want to be around you, but your thoughts are, I'm a bad, terrible person and nobody wants to be around me. And
that's that drunk monkey.
And that's cognitive dissonance. And they've done studies on it. It affects you at a physiological level. It affects what you're projecting, what's around you. And you've got to close that gap to the reality of who you are and that you're still a good person, even after divorce.
Agreed. And I think sometimes we get so stuck in our head, and then we'll get mad at ourselves for having those thoughts. Like, God, what's wrong with me? I'm so stupid. Why am I thinking? And all that does is perpetuate it and make it even worse, because then we're piling on top of piling. So I think one of the important things that we do is, okay, well, let's focus on what do I want moving forward? And because too often, I know we talked about this on another call, if I say, don't think of the pink elephant, what happens?
That's what you think
of.
What you focus on expands.
That's right.
Yeah. So when you're telling yourself what you don't want, because the subconscious doesn't understand negative. So it's like, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to hurt anymore. I don't want to feel this way. Well, then you're continuing to tell your mind about you're thinking of the pink elephant. So let's think of the green giraffe. Let's think about, what do we want to experience? What would it look like to move on? What would it look like and feel like to love yourself? And then just try to shift the energy that way.
Yeah. Well, just like everything, all good things must come to an end.
And thank you, Ramsey, for giving us like a little sample and taste of.
We're leaving them wanting more.
Yes, and we would encourage all of our listeners to go, check out his website, give Ramsey a call, see if this is a good fit for you.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Ramsey's the class on our website
in our resources tab.
Yes.
So it'll be there, and we highly recommend to get around good people like Ramsey to help you. There are people that bring energy to you, and there are people that suck energy from you. And Ramsey is the bringer of the energy.
That's right. Thank you, Ramsey, for developing this course and for sharing it with our listeners. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys both. I really appreciate the both of you and look forward to seeing you next time I'm back out that way.
Yes.
All right. Going hiking.
Thanks, Ramsey.
Amen. Take care. Mahalo.
All right. So I do want to read a review before we wrap the show up from Misty Price. Laura was an amazing agent, top-notch all the way. Laura was professional, charismatic, and went above and beyond on guiding me through my home purchase while being 8,600 miles away and never laying real eyes on the house until after purchasing it.
Yeah.
She made a very stressful situation easy and pulled off like a champion without a hitch. I highly recommend Laura for all things real estate. Thank you for being fantastically amazing.
And I want to tell you about 85735 Kaupuni Place in Waianae. Embrace the ultimate coastal lifestyle in this beautiful 3-bedroom, 1-bath home in Waianae. Immerse yourself in the rhythm of the tides and the soul-soothing sound of the waves. Step into your personal oasis, a sprawling backyard that's the epitome of relaxation with a pergola, perfect for a fresco dining. I know there were words in there that you're going to have to look up, but you'll be a better person for it.
You know what? Just go take a look at the house.
Yeah.
You can actually go to our website. We've got a 3D tour, Matterport tour, video,
virtual,
everything. You can go just check it out. It's a beautiful
drone
home.
shots.
Yes. And lastly, we've got a career night coming up.
Oh, yeah.
October 10th.
Real estate career.
Yep. 6 to 7, October 10th.
So if you are in an industry that you're not happy about and you're like, it's time to make a change, I think this would be the thing that you should check out, our career night.
Come check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Jodie and
Derek of Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley of Allstate Insurance.
Kenji of Pillar to Post Home Inspection.
John with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke of Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Kyle with Impact Well Solutions.
Robinson of Fine Line Paintworks.
Evan with American Floor and Home.
Jake of SKYTA Construction Roofing and Solar.
And is it Scott?
Yep.
With Zero Res Hawaii.
Amphi with the Estate Planning Group.
And Jeff with the Loan Depot. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo!
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life.
Forever! This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold Program.
If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price in our time frame, we'll have it bought for cash.
Thanks and aloha!
The preceding program was sponsored by Team Lally.